You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me, Susan.
Hi, thank you for joining us for lunch. You've reached Can we do that one more time, darling? This is what happens when we don't edit. Okay.
You are going to edit, though.
This is all straight up.
Okay.
Hi, thank you so much for tuning in during your valuable lunch hour. This is Susan Hamilton, and you're listening to the Offbeat Business Show. And I'm sitting here with Ray Southwell today. And the timing is pretty cool because we are talking about dads this entire month of June. And I'm real excited to tell you about what he's doing. It's a little unusual, and at the same time, it's very common because he has worked out an arrangement with his son, and you'll be hearing from him later this month as well. So I'm very excited to introduce Ray. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
So tell us the name of your company.
We're Queen's Winery.
And where are you located?
We're located in Garland. It's about the corner of Jupiter and 635.
Well, that's nice and handy for us here in North Texas. We can find you.
Yeah, but it won't do much good because we're not open to the public.
Uh-oh.
We do all of our sales through retail outlets.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's an unusual model for a winery to not have a tasting room.
Well, we do like to have a tasting room, Ray.
Well, we do tastings in-house and at our retailers, so.
Okay. So where could we find your wine?
Oh, you could find the wine lots of places. Whole Foods, Market Street,
Love
Central
that.
Market, Total Wine.
Everywhere you ought to be. Very
all
nice.
the high-end places.
So when we were talking earlier, you told me that you really haven't been doing this very long.
About 4 years.
That's fascinating. So from when you started, I imagine you might have had some challenges getting a business up and going, but you've gone at breakneck speed to get where you are today, to be
Yes.
especially in all these locations. What do you contribute as, tell me about one of your biggest challenges and how you overcame that.
So one of our biggest challenges is we made the decision not to do the tasting room.
Okay, that was
Okay.
an integral
Most
part,
wineries
huh?
start there and then they grow from that, and it's a good cash flow system, but we decided to spend our resources. We had made the assumption we're going to lose money for a while, for several years, and so we decided to dedicate our resources to building long-term, maintainable channels. So we felt like the retail channel was our best to start with. We are expanding into other new channels, but right now we are focusing primarily on the retail channels.
So how did you develop those relationships with these other businesses, and how did you get in the door?
Okay, so we are the only Go Texan kosher winery in the world.
Wow, very cool.
We are kosher winery like number 23 in the United States.
Why don't you help us understand what that means?
Okay, kosher is not some rabbi coming in and blessing it, right? Kosher means a certification of purity.
Okay.
And we felt like kosher was the highest level of certification of purity that we could get for the business. So that's what we did. It helped open a number of doors for us on the retail channel. The retailers wanted a combination of both kosher, Go Texan, unusual wines. So we produce a high quality, unusual Go Texan kosher wine. And so by standing out and being different from all of the other wineries, because there's thousands of wineries in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They're all vying for the same shelf space. And what we did was we found a niche that we could fill properly and was small enough to be the wedge in the door to where we could get things going and moving.
So prior to this, were you interested in honey wine?
Actually, my son is the one that's been making honey wine for years.
Oh, that's exciting.
Right?
That's exciting. Look at how family business is working here in Texas. Very cool.
And I was headed towards retirement.
Yeah.
And so I can't sit around. It's not in my nature.
Well, that's the trend right now.
Yeah.
We're finding less and less of the boomer generation just waiting for time to pass. People are getting up, and they're still very, very active, very successful in business.
Thank you.
And that aggression, I just love that.
Yeah.
I love how you've immediately within 4 years got yourself in the door of all these locations. And we are going to patiently sit back and wait for you to change your mind about a tasting room. Well, that's exciting. So tell me a little bit about why.
Well, our new channel is restaurants, so it'll be
okay.
soon that you can go into many restaurants.
And go ahead and order.
I've hired a chef
Okay.
to actually present the wine to the various high-end restaurants here in the North Texas area, and then I'll be looking for someone in the Houston area and San Antonio and whatnot.
Oh wow! We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that. So you had you keep mentioning the purity of the honey wine. Now I raised 5 kids, so I know what it means when they're talking about honey and babies and honey being pure, and I understand the whole
Right.
raw honey thing because I'm an organic gardener and I eat like that. So tell me, is there a purity issue with honey in particular when it comes to wine? Is that a thing?
Well, there's one major purity issue, and
Right.
that's that it has to be U.S. honey.
Okay.
Okay, and we are True Source certified, so that means that we can trace the honey to its actual original source.
Oh wow. Okay.
The Chinese contaminated all their honey
Right.
with heavy insecticides, pesticides. We use only blended monofloral honeys from the same source. So our wine is our honey starts in exactly the same place. We use only reverse osmosis water,
Ah.
and we use only even in cleaning, so that we keep the highest level of standards. We use only special clean yeast and nutrients.
And if I understand correctly, that reverse osmosis is one of the only ways you can get chlorine from the water.
It's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
It is 100 times more pure than distilled.
Well, that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
can't wait to try this wine. I can't believe you didn't bring a bottle today.
Oh,
I'll be after
got
you
some
next
out in the
time.
car.
That's a good thing to know.
So
That's
we
a-
produce 3:
Okay.
a sweet, a dry, and a chocolate dessert.
Oh, okay. That'll be popular for sure.
So one of the things that's taken a while
Okay.
is third-party validation.
All
And
right,
so through third-party validation, we've won, all of our wines have won medals,
Oh, that's wonderful.
all right? But our chocolate dessert is just exceptional. It just won a double gold. Dallas Morning News gave it a silver.
Sweet.
The gold, it is sweet actually.
Ah.
Very sweet. So the dry is 100% dry. The semi-sweet or sweet banquet is the name of it. But the sweet is a more of a traditional honey wine. So honey wine's been around forever. And then the chocolate dessert was designed by my wife. So the ladies just love it.
You know that's right, but I was going to say my husband would. My husband loves chocolate wine and chocolate beer. That's a big deal, so I know that'll be popular in our house. I'm real excited about that. But it's interesting how you're doing business here. Of course, I meet a lot of the people that I work with, a lot of guests of the shows, a lot of the contributors, because I'm very out and about with networking, and it's where I met you.
Right.
And so you're real good about getting your business out in front of people. Can you tell me what you think, if you were going to tell us the value you put on networking when it came to growing your business?
You have to have networking, but you have to have the right kind of networking. You have to have the right person doing it. I am very poor at networking. I happen to be there with Chef Ida Lee, who is an exceptional networker.
Exactly, and she got you involved.
And she got
Look
me
at
involved.
that, yeah.
She dragged me along. My wife is an exceptional networker, right? So they are both good networkers. I personally am not, but I found the right people to do it. And to me, that's one of the major keys to business, is finding the right people to doing what they need to do, and let them be good at what they do, and you focus on what you do.
Are you listening to that? That
Core
is
competency
wonderful advice.
versus knowing other people's core competencies and using them.
Well, and when it comes to family business, we don't tend to do things like that.
No.
And so that's good. You're recognizing a C-level approach to what you need to do to be successful. Put the right people in the right locations. I see, as family businesses, I grew up in one, and so I get that. And largely, the clients that I've had over the years tend to be family-owned businesses. There's some differences that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to that inter-office communication, right?
Right.
Now, you're not just getting sales training. You're getting sales training from somebody who expects you to do things their way, right?
That's
I
right.
mean, it's a little bit different, and a lot of times it's hard for those new ideas to come into play. But how cool is it that the way your company's set up, you're already learning from somebody who's already been in it a while, and that's your son. So you're learning a lot from him. How is your communication in business?
Well, we struggled with that, being
Yes.
family to start with,
Yeah.
right? And so finally what we worked out was when it's winery related, he'll call me Ray. And when it's family related, he'll call me Dad.
I'm high-fiving him right now. Choo, that is so smart. That is so smart. Because it's a typical issue.
Yeah, it is a typical issue. How do you leave the work at the office, or how do you know what's the context of the conversation?
I thank you so much for sharing that, because I think a lot of people struggle like that, and you can hang up there for a long time.
Oh,
You
I
can
had
hang
to
up
leave
there
my
for
dad.
years.
I
So
worked-
this is generational. You've done this with your dad too.
Well, I didn't do this.
This, but
I
a
mean, we had a
business.
laboratory, but I did work for my dad. I finally ended up leaving because I wanted to keep him as my dad instead of a boss, and I couldn't stand the boss. So I loved the dad, and I decided to keep that. So
Lesson learned. Now you can take
lesson
those lessons
learned.
into
I'm trying to do that with my son, because eventually it'll be his business. It's just something for me to do and build while I retire, and then eventually turn over to him. So
I think that is
the goal
wonderful.
is long term and him, not me.
Well, you're going to go far with this, no doubt about it. I mean, these are already national brands that you're associated with.
Yes.
You're already all over the country. Are you international?
No, not international yet, but I have conversations going with a couple of people that would take us to Europe and China.
Oh, wonderful. How do you think you'll be able to maintain purity standards in China?
Oh, it'll all be manufactured here.
Okay, so just the cells. No.
Just sales,
Okay.
no manufacturing outside. No.
Look at
It's-
you, American business. That's
it's
all right.
True, it's American business, but since honey doesn't have a crush cycle like grapes,
Uh-huh.
right? So we can produce on a much different scale. Since we have honey is blended, since we have all the same honey to start with, we can scale up, and it's really as much manufacturing as it is anything else. So my son is a Mensa, so he is pretty bright.
Nice.
Uh,
Nice.
and-
Aren't you proud, Daddy?
Yeah. But he goes through and he develops processes, so we can produce honey wine that is aged or has the exact same chemical and everything else characteristics, flavor characteristics of a multi-year-old wine
Wonderful.
on a short-term basis. So
Okay.
we can also, when a grape wine, when someone makes a decision to bring grape wine out, they are focusing 3 to 5 years down the road at the earliest. We can bring one out since it's honey and adjust to the market demands dramatically easier.
Oh, that's wonderful. Friends, are you enjoying talking to Ray Southwell here at Queen's Winery? I hope you are, as much as I am. Listen, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to finish this conversation, and we're going to continue learning from Ray what he's doing in business that's working, some of the stuff he's learned that maybe didn't work so great that he's got past, and oh my stars, you're going to learn more about this honey wine. So we'll be back after these few messages. This is Susan Hamilton. You're listening to the Offbeat Business Show.